Hello and welcome back to Softtonic.com, where today we are going to be looking at Volume. I'm Alex and I love this game. Now, Volume is developed by a guy called Mike Bithell, who's a British indie developer who is probably best known for his work on a game called Thomas Was Alone, which was a platformer. Very simple-looking platformer. Let's say simple-looking, but very stylish, and that's exactly what's been recreated here. Now, Volume is a stealth game, and if you ever played Metal Gear Solid 1 and the virtual missions on there, you'll instantly feel like you have a good idea of what's going on. But what Mike Bithell has done very intelligently is remove the real-world aspect by placing it in a computer simulation and making everything incredibly concrete in terms of what you do, how you do it, and what things around you will do and can do. And by removing the abstract, removing the real-world elements, it's made it a far more compelling, for me, game that feels more like a puzzling experience. Now, world's fallen apart. Crib notes. We're looking at a load of people here, as you'll see, and below them there is the beautiful hexagon which shows the maze or the level you're about to play. And we will jump into one of the early ones to start with. I finished this game 100%, as you can see up in the top right corner, because it is just that good. Now, the world has fallen apart, and these guys are the kind of architects of Britain's, in this case, is kind of collapse. With the rich people getting richer and the poor people getting poorer. I think we've recognised that kind of sentiment. But within the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer, they've kind of made this faux class system that gives people very little kind of social movement between where they're born and what they're going to be. And your guy, who was born as a protector, like a soldier class, has decided to fight back against that, being the only way he knows how, which is rather than using weapons, he's chosen to use stealth, and he's using a volume, which is a kind of computer, to help him do that. He's stolen an old volume from the powers that be, and he's using that to simulate the houses that they live in, and then streaming that out to incite other people to actually go and rob for them, to rob back the money. Now, there's a lot to that and a lot to take in, and there's multiple layers, and they take great pleasure in using social media kind of hooks and let's plays and other people doing this in the world as a hook to get you involved with it and what's going on. And like the computer that's with you, called Alan, is commenting the whole time that now there's however many people are watching you, and he's a bit conflicted as well, because while he's an AI, an intelligent AI, he has his own kind of thoughts. He's very aware that he's helping you when it's against his original programming, and you've essentially tricked him into this. He's complicit, and a lot of this game is him starting to think, because in the system that was set up, he was meant to be the thinker. The AI were meant to be the brains, and he feels like that option's been taken away from him and them. So he's now coming to terms with that and just kind of making his own decisions, which is much of the crux of the game, and it ties into it all really well. And then on top of that, sorry, I played all that with one hand as I described this to you, and then all of that ties into the fact that there are heavy overtones. Your character is called Robert Loxley, and you're fighting Gisborne Industries. Now, if you don't know British mythos very well, Rob Loxley would be Robin Hood, and Guy Gisborne would be the kind of his villains of the piece. I think it was the Sheriff of Nottingham, I think. Anyway, he works for the king is something else that's said, so you can only assume that ties into that too. And it gets more and more complicated. Now, that one was really easy. Later on, you start to get pickups, and this is one of the other great things, because as I said before, it's removed what you would call the theory, not the theory, it's removed abstraction. Now, while the world looks abstract, the rules of the world are not in any way abstract. So it leads you to this path of knowing exactly what to do, and they've done a great job in never overloading you with systems. Now, I have the kind of stealth button there that allows me to dodge, push up against walls. That's one trigger on a controller. You can use mouse and keyboard, but I chose not to. So there we go. Then with the A button is kind of contextual. The other analog stick, one moves here, but also kind of activates weapons that you can aim in specific directions at any point, because a lot of them are kind of hurl weapons. But you only pick up, or items I should say, not weapons. You can only activate one of those at a time, so you can only have one of them active, which limits your options kind of tactically, but also means that it never gets so confusing that you can't do anything. And that was kind of a boon for me, because yeah, I always kind of struggle with Metal Gear because there were so many options, and this keeps that kind of the ethos, but really takes it down to a wonderful puzzle version of that. So you can see absolutely the kind of sound I set off by walking over that glass box. This is a checkpoint. You can use those to your advantage during gameplay. And now I have two choices of items. I can pick up an oddity, which is an item you can throw into the world and acts like, if you're aware of them, the magazines you can pick up in Metal Gear, or the bugle. Now the bugle is something you can hurl, and when you set it off, they will go and explore what it is. Now I think I can get away with ducking down here, just cruising along. But the trick is going to be... oh, there we go. So I threw that away, set it off just far enough away that he was distracted. Now I've played quite a lot. Now I've been talking, so I didn't get a personal best, but these early stages you get used to pretty quickly. So let's really ratchet this up and show what people will be in for. I don't want to go too high up, but the world looks great. Ooh, this could be good. Generally... no. So sorry. Some rounds, the computer called Alan, basically messing around with you, like while he's working something else out, because he's got to develop all these from kind of the schematics you've given him. So you'll get something like this that takes a little bit more of a joke from other retro games, because obviously this has a retro look, even if it isn't. It's got this fixed top-down view. But yeah, this borrows heavily from Pac-Man, obviously. And there are walls here that you can deactivate, which is going to be a quicker way through, but obviously while you're doing that you have to not get caught. I messed this up, going to be a bit slow. See? And by flicking to this, the stealth view, I get a better view of the world. I should just use the one I've opened already, probably. Show that that wasn't just by accident. Whoa. Now, if they see you, which I'll do now, which I'll do on the next one, the cone narrows down. It starts giving you a very definite countdown that they're in pursuit, and they get a timer above their heads that shows when they're going to shoot. So, if you duck out of view, that will reset the timer, which I'll show you now. And also, you have the option in that equation. Ooh, this is another kind of stealthy one, but let's set this off. So he's aware of me, and if I hide, it resets the timer. I'm not going to be able to hide again. But if you hide, it'll reset the timer, or you can, if you've got enough time, you can sprint up towards a checkpoint, which obviously... oh, there we go. That's a good example of that. I managed to get away from him. Oh, I got away with that. Uh-oh. But he's called a load of other people in, and they get me. But because... and Alan's sarcastic. And obviously what you see there is I was checkpointed there. So it's possible, and you use this a lot in the game when you're really kind of cutting it fine, you can make a dash for some of the gems that are the goals that will unlock at the end of the level. And as long as you hit the checkpoint, they'll count that as an advancement. Like that. So I made that dash and I made that checkpoint, which means I'm now up here and I don't have to worry about the fact that I just messed up. Now mute is another power, and one of my favourites, because once it's charged up, which is in the top corner there, I can dash through fast enough to do stuff. And if I hit this, I can stop him activating an alarm that calls everybody to come and get me. But as I say, my only tactical option is, and you get messages in the world, my only tactical option is what items I pick up, and that's really it. Otherwise, I've got all the tools that I'm going to have at the very beginning of the game at the very end. Now, the enemies get more complex, get more varied. So you'll get dogs that can't attack you, but will but have far bigger perception. You have characters that can see all the way around them. Then you have knights. Knights are interesting because they're very quick, and once they see you, you're pretty much done for. But you can toy with them once you know how to do certain things. But we're just gonna be quick enough, and then if we wait for the mute to charge up, because we're muted, we can just dash over stuff and done. So there's, I think, around 100 levels in this, and it is. Now I don't often do this. I'm an adult. I have a job. This is the job, obviously, but you know, I sat down at 9 o'clock one evening. I was like, okay, I'll just get through like half of it, and then I'll be about ready. I'll have an opinion. What I ended up doing was playing until 3 in the morning. Unable to stop until I'd finished the game, all of it, and this is perhaps it's up there. It's certainly one of the best games I've played this year, and it takes stealth in a puzzly way that I can really get behind and that I really enjoyed. Now there's also online. You can also edit. There's a level editor, so you can make your own levels and share them online. And what I'd like is, if anyone out there is designing levels and they see this video, my Twitter address, which was at the start of the video, I'll try and get it up again here because I don't edit these, is Doofus, DOFUSS. And if you tell me the name of the level, I will try and complete it, and I'll make a video of me playing it and completing it or not. I'll try and beat your par time as well. So subscribe to this so you can comment on that. Like this video as well, just so more people can see it, so I get more levels to play. And I will see you next time on softtonic.com.